Hi, Bomb Squad. Welcome back. I want to say hi to everybody. How's everyone doing today?
Good. We just had Starbucks.
I know. Actually, I want to thank you all for coming a little early. I think that was very nice for us to actually go walk over there to the Starbucks and get ourselves a nice treat so we can kind of bond and hang out. So that was very nice. I want to thank you guys for actually coming up with that as a group and convincing me to walk over there with all of you guys and getting a nice Starbucks. That was very nice. So thank you for that. Before we start, confidentiality. Who remembers what that is? I know Ariana answered last time. I would like somebody else in the group to answer. Yes, Angel?
Just keep it within the group.
Keep it within the group. Nice and sweet. That's right. Keep it within the group. If I have to break it, it's because either one of you says you're going to go kill yourselves or one of you say you're going to go hurt somebody else. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So last week we actually went over this theory called CBT, which we talked about the thoughts, the emotions, the behavior. And I brought up the big term cognitive restructuring to you guys. And I had handed out those little journals to you guys, asking you guys to write any negative thoughts you guys had done during the week. And try to replace them, which is cognitive restructuring, replacing them with positives. So, for example, if you said, I'm fat, you replace it with a positive, say, yes, I'm probably a little bit overweight. I acknowledge that, but I'm working on it. Okay, so that was more of a positive rather than the negative. So we were supposed to do that. You guys were supposed, and I'm glad you guys all brought your journals. I really appreciate that. So we're gonna take some time, since it's been mainly me talking and us doing all these activities. I want to take some time for us as a group to go over the journals and share at least one of your entries that you guys have in there about any negative thought that came to mind during the week. Who would like to start?
I'll start off.
Okay, so Ariana wants to start off.
Okay, so on the 16th, which I believe was yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
so I binge ate because I didn't eat the entire day, so I just stuffed myself.
Right.
So I just put I felt fat and unhealthy, and I was supposed to start a diet, so that kind of got spoiled. So for a solution, I just put I can work out, maybe run a mile at a park, and just remember that I'm beautiful no matter what.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Can you? I heard you write the negative, but I also noticed that you mentioned I'm beautiful regardless of what I'm thinking. Can you tell me a little bit about how that made you feel when you wrote that?
I thought it was surprising because I usually focus on
Mm-hmm.
the negative, but to feel myself come up with something positive was just kind of surprising.
Surprising.
Yeah.
So did it make you? Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, did it make you feel good inside
much
when you
better.
said that, rather than you saying I'm fat?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, good. How about you, Angel?
Okay. So on the 16th, which was yesterday, exactly the same. For my negative, I just woke up early in the morning and just looked at myself in the mirror and just nodded at myself, like in depression, and then just
Okay.
walked out.
So kind of like can you show me kind of like what kind of nod? Like a negative, like ugh, like.
Just complete negative, like just glanced once, walked away, just like in disgust.
Okay.
And just for positive, I just learned. I
Were
just
you-
taught myself
okay.
to love myself. That's it.
Okay, were you able to replace that? Like, let's say that moment that you were there and you looked at yourself, you're like, ugh, and you kind of walked away. Can any of you guys think of what Angel could have used as a positive at that moment? Like, if we're using this concept of cognitive restructuring, if he looked at himself and he was like, oh, you know.
He could have looked at himself and said, well, this is me, just accept it,
Exactly, exactly. And he mentioned that actually, but it seemed like that thought came after, right? It wasn't at that moment. And it's fine because we're all new at this. So I like that you were very honest about that, because at that moment you probably went out through the whole day, throughout the whole morning thinking, this about myself. But then towards the end, it kind of seems like you picked up that motivation. It sounds like it. And then you put that positive thought and you journaled it in, which was good. It's progress as to not thinking a positive thought at all. Does that make sense? So he kind of did get towards a positive, but it took him a little bit longer to get there. But I'm glad that you actually got there. once you thought that, how did you feel?
I just felt pleased with myself. It's as soon as I got to that level, I was just like nothing else could stop me, basically.
Okay,
Like,
good.
move forward. Yeah.
Good. I like that. Okay, how about you, Lupe?
Well, I'm 15. I put most of the time I don't feel satisfied with my body. I feel fat. But instead of getting depressed, it got me motivated to work out and eat healthier and be happy with my body.
Okay, so you used that sad portion of that thought of yours and you converted it. It sounds like you converted it to a positive by saying, well, I just need to work out, and that's all I can really do at this point. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me how Lupe could have actually worded that? Like, cause she mentioned it like, oh, I just thought about. Did you word it in any specific way, Lupe? Like, let me see if I'm trying to make sense to you. You said you don't like the way you looked or your body, you were not satisfied with it, so you just thought about, oh, maybe I can just work out. What can you verbally say out loud to yourself that can motivate you? Like, can you think of anything? And if you don't know the answer, that's fine. That's why we're here as a group. Like, what can Lupe tell herself in that moment where she's thinking, I'm overweight, I don't like the way I look?
She's unique in her own kind.
Okay. This is me. I'm unique in my own kind. I'm working on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you say it to yourself. It's kind of like a prayer. You say it to yourself. Like, you think the thought. Yes, exactly. I got this. You catch that nasty thought one lingering around you. You catch it. You stop it, and you say it out loud. The positive one. Okay, because that way it will make you feel better. It's kind of like confidence, like you tell yourself, I think I can. Like Little Train I Could, you know,
Yeah.
I think I can. You know, if you do that, in essence, it's kind of like you ingrain that inside you and you kind of like bring out that positive emotion. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Thank you for sharing, Lupe. How about you, Clarissa?
No negatives. No, I'm just kidding.
If the world was that easy.
Okay, this was written on the 12th. I put, I look so fat in my scrubs, let me suck my gut in. And I put, you look fine, stop overthinking. If you think you look great, you'll feel great. Stay positive.
Nice. Is that something you heard somewhere? Or you just like, that's Clarissa's
No,
motto?
that's me.
That's your motto. I like that. How did that make you feel though? Like at that moment, like if you weren't, let's do two scenarios. If she thought that the whole scrub thing, I look fat in my scrubs or whatnot, and she didn't think anything, she went out the whole day thinking like that, compared to, I got this. This is me. What was your motto again?
If you think you look great, you feel great.
You feel great. So you thought that, and then did that make you feel better?
Yeah, especially when you're writing it out, so you're like rereading it, like, oh yeah, you're right. It'll make me feel better.
This. Okay.
Because if I would have stayed negative, honestly, like in front of the patients, I would have been like hiding myself, kind of. You get me?
Okay. So it did make you feel. So this is a tiny exercise, and I mean, I know it takes a lot from you guys, and I'm very thankful that you guys actually did it, because on top of tons of homework you guys have at school, you guys actually took the time to actually journal these thoughts, and that's the whole concept behind it. Because I'm trying to get you guys to get out of this group that body image is what you perceive or of yourself, not what others perceive of you. Okay, we're more critical, and I think with those exercises that we have been doing, we've kind of witnessed that, you know, the whole little when we drew ourselves last week and you perceived yourself in a certain way, but in reality, you know, it probably is not that. You're the worst critic to yourself, and it's harder to write the positives than to write the negatives, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So with that in mind, we want to redefine our terms, our negative thoughts. We want to redefine them into, okay, for example, I'm fat. Let's redefine that term into, I need to eat in moderation. Yes, I'm a little overweight. See how overweight sounds different than I'm fat, you know, or I am obese and I'm grandiose and I'm horrible and I'm a pig and I'm a whatever you call yourself, you know. You need to change that into more of a positive. Yes, acknowledge it. Yes, I might be a little bit overweight, but I can work on that. Okay. So, really quickly, what I wanted to do is redefine those, because I want to show you, like, honestly, like, that there's a big difference between what you see and what others see. Okay. So we're gonna do the evidence for here. And then here, evidence against. Okay. So I'm going to use Lupe as example, okay, in this one where she thought she saw her body image. And you're going to be her supporters here, okay? So let's remember that we're going to be respectful and we're going to support one another, okay? So what evidence does Lupe have that her body is not perfect?
It's the way she perceives herself.
She perceives herself. Do we have any evidence that Lupe is fat? Like, who are we to determine that Lupe is fat? Do we have the evidence for that?
No.
No, right? We don't. Is there evidence against it? Yes, because Lupe, you're not fat. Okay? That's just the way you're perceiving yourself, you know? And we look at the terminology of obesity, which is what you're quoting fat, to your body, your BMI, and we were to probably take you to a doctor's office, I don't think the doctor will call you obese, Lupe. I don't think the doctor will tell you you need a lap band, Lupe. I don't think the doctor will tell you, you know? So there's no evidence. Like, or for example, Angel's thinking, oh my God, I'm so ugly. And what evidence do you have that? Did somebody tell you you were ugly?
Ugly means ugly.
What does ugly mean?
Yeah, what is ugly?
What evidence for do we have? None, okay? What evidence against it?
That's a whole list.
There's a huge list. It's what others perceive you. I don't perceive you as ugly, Angel. Maybe Clarissa perceives you as ugly. I don't know. But Ariana doesn't perceive you as ugly, for example. Lupe, I mean, it's what the definition of that person is to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, whatever is ugly to somebody might be beautiful to the other.
Exactly. You know, like, just like in history, like they were showing these images the other day, like the ideal woman body weight, for example. Like, they liked them chunkier back then than what they are perceiving in the media now. All these women are photoshopped. Kim Kardashian's always photoshopped. Tyra Banks is always photoshopped. Even the men, Justin Bieber's abs, I'm pretty sure are not Justin Bieber's abs, you know? They're all photoshopped, you know? So it's what you perceive. So where's the evidence and what's the evidence against? And that's what we want to redefine those concepts, okay? So I want to end today's session with a video that I came up with, because it kind of fits with everything that we've been talking about what you perceive yourself and what others perceive yourself. It's a very powerful video that actually the company Dove came up with on body image, and it's teaching you to love yourself. And it's a short clip, and I want you to take a look at it, and we can talk about it in our last session, in our next session, and so we can continue talking about body image. And your journaling, continue journaling. We're going to continue talking about that in our next session, and I want to see if there's a change on how you feel about yourself throughout the process, okay? And if you really don't see that and nothing's really changing, then let me know and be honest, and we can probably talk about it more next session, okay? So let me go ahead and put this video on. And by the way, thank you everybody for sharing. And Lupe, I didn't mean to pick on you. You know, it's just you're the first one that came to mind to me, okay? Okay, let's see. And we're gonna do it.
forensic artist. Worked for the San Jose Police Department from 1995 to 2011.
I showed up to a place I'd never been, and there was a guy with a drafting board.
We couldn't see them, they couldn't see us.
Tell me about your hair.
I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
It kind of protrudes a little bit, especially when I smile.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw.
What would be your most prominent feature?
Kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
I would say I have a pretty big forehead.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. I don't see them.
All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm going to ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm going to ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. And her chin, it was a nice, thin chin.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke.
Cute nose.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
So here, this is the sketch that you helped me create, and that's a sketch that somebody described of you.
So yeah, let's...
She looks closed off and fatter. Sadder, too. The second one looks more open, friendly, and happy.
I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. It couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
We spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right. And we should spend more time appreciating the things that we do like.
So with that said, we are our worst critics, right? And notice how much uglier they perceive themselves to what people actually see them. So with that in mind, I want you to think about reframing those positive thoughts and putting them in your journals every time you think of a negative thought. And I will see you next week, Farm Squad. Bye-bye.